Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Today we're going to be discussing a fairly unpopular topic, which is the Muslim conquest of Jerusalem in the year 637 CE. This was approximately 3 years after the conquest of Damascus by the Muslim army. Damascus is the present-day Syria, as we all know it, and the Muslims also conquered Iraq, all the neighboring towns near Jerusalem, which was known as Palestine. Islam was a religion that spread like wildfire through the Arabian Peninsula and even to Africa, even during the life of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So after his death, the caliphs, who were the spiritual and political leaders of the Muslims in Mecca and Medina, kept on propagating Islam, some through war, mostly through peace. But mind you, Islam does not force anybody to accept their religion. Even if you are being conquered by a Muslim army, you can never be forced to accept the religion. And this is how it has been since time immemorial. Whenever you hear someone telling you that Islam was spread mainly by the sword or people were forced into the religion, tell them that is a blatant lie. Because in the Holy Quran it is said, La ikraha fi din. There is no compulsion in religion. And that is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself said. Back to the topic at hand. The Muslim army besieged Jerusalem in the year 637, as I said. The siege went on for approximately 4 months. And then the patriarch, who was the archbishop of Jerusalem as at that time, decided to surrender the city to the Muslim armies. But under one condition. The Khalifa, who was the spiritual leader of the Muslims, but also the political leader, had to come and get the key to the city himself. The Khalifa was in Medina as at that time. On hearing of this event, Umar bin Khattab, who was the Khalifa, immediately left for Jerusalem. Upon receiving the demand of Sophronius, the Archbishop of Jerusalem, Umar bin Khattab made his way to Jerusalem. He only took one camel and one servant of his. They made their way to Jerusalem, taking turns on the camel, because that's how he was. And that is what Islam teaches: humility and care for others. You wouldn't leave your servant walking all the way from Medina to Jerusalem. So they took turns. When they arrived at Jerusalem, Umar bin Khattab was the one on foot, and his servant was the one on the camel. Upon hearing the arrival of the Caliph, Sophronius came outside the city gates to welcome him. When he came, he saw a camel and the person leading the camel and the Muslim army behind him. So when he came, he asked the person on the camel, "Where is the Caliph?" And the person on the camel, the slave of Umar bin Khattab, was trying to signal that the Caliph was the one leading the camel. So Sophronius asked the person leading the camel, "Where is your Caliph?" And Umar bin Khattab said, "I am the Caliph." So Sophronius was dumbfounded, and he asked, "Why are you so poor?" Because he saw him with clothes that is mended. He said, "You conquered Iraq. You conquered the whole of Palestine except for Jerusalem. You've also conquered the whole of Syria. Why are you poor?" And Umar bin Khattab simply said, "We don't do this for the money. We don't do this for the clout, really. We just do it for the sake of Allah." You see, Sophronius came out of the city gates with his entourage, well-dressed, with gold all around. He was carried on top this lectica. It's called a lectica, a bed-like structure that the Romans carry their wealthy and royal people. So after this short conversation with Umar bin Khattab, Sophronius was shamed off of his lectica. He stepped down of it. He said he was willing to, negotiate with the Caliph. What are the terms of surrender? So the Caliph said he has a better idea. Why don't they walk into the city? While walking, they will negotiate what are the terms of surrender. I must say, this was a very, very huge gamble on the part of Sophronius, because he had no idea what the Muslim army was going to do after granted entrance into the city of Jerusalem. So Umar ibn Khattab, Sophronius, and the Muslim army and the entourage of Sophronius, of course, walked into the city of Jerusalem. The Muslims were humbled by this because this is the third holiest site in the Muslim tradition. This is where the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam went on the night journey, which we will come to discuss in another segment. So Sophronius decided to take Umar bin Khattab on a short, tour around the city. So he took him to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, which is where it is believed Jesus was buried, and it was time for prayer, the Muslim prayer. So Umar bin Khattab wanted to pray, and Sophronius told Umar bin Khattab to pray here. Umar bin Khattab, recognizing the importance of the Holy Sepulchre, which still stands today, Umar bin Khattab said no. He said if he should to pray here, he fears that the future Muslim generations will turn this holy sacred place of the Christians into a mosque. So Umar bin Khattab went to a place close to a few meters away from the church, and he prayed there with Sophronius. Sophronius prayed in his Christian way, and Umar bin Khattab prayed in his Muslim way. The shocking thing is, where Umar bin Khattab stood and prayed in Jerusalem stands now as a very big mosque, and it is named after Umar bin Khattab. So just imagine how thoughtful he was not to pray inside the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, because I can only imagine what maybe the future Muslims will come and be, trying to take over the church and turn it into a mosque. So that's a very good thing on behalf of Umar bin Khattab.